Hello, everyone, and welcome. We'll get started momentarily. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. This meeting is being recorded, so if anyone misses the beginning, they can catch up. My name is Adria, and I'm from AWFS, and I'd like to welcome you all to the AWFS annual meeting. Just a couple housekeeping tips before we get started. Like I said, the session is being recorded, and the recording will be shared after the session. So since you're all registered, you'll get the link, but it'll also be available on our website. And if you have any questions for us, please post them in the chat, and we'll have time for a question and answer at the end of the presentation. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Rob Howell, our board president, and he'll take it from here. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, thank you, Adria. I'd like to just take the time to welcome everybody to the AWFS annual meeting, members meeting. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. The annual meeting really allows us the opportunity to share with our members some of the committees, what some of the committees are working on in our industry. Everyone thinks of AWFS as only the show, but it's so much more. And our chairs of each of the committees will be sharing some insight onto what's happening inside of each committee. With that being said, I'd like to get started and call the meeting to order. And just make sure everyone is aware that this will fall under the antitrust guidelines that you see here on the screen. And if you want to use the QR code to download that, you can at this time. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our first committee chair, which is Bob Brown. And he's going to talk about the trade show report. Bob?
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. All right. Strategic goal for trade show: deliver exceptional value for both exhibitors and attendees. We're looking forward to the AWFS Fair for 2023, which will be running from July 25th through the 28th at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Some exhibit hall updates here. Let's see, percentages in reference to 21 show totals versus numbers to date. Number of exhibitors were at 93%. First time exhibitors were at 100%. Square footage 97%. Booth revenue is at 103%. Sponsorship revenue at 72%. Downsize revenue 60%. Cancellation revenue 4%, and total revenue at 91%. Attendee registration is open, $20 through December 31st of this year. Hotel block is open for everyone at this point. Exhibitor registration will open January 2023. The tool tour is back for 2023. We're excited about that. Western theme with exciting new features. And Destroy Responsibly 2023, a more impactful than ever. The CWWK program details will be available in the spring of 23 as well. And there are many features in the works. Follow us on social media. Visit us at awfsfair.org. And we look forward to seeing you in July. Back to you, Rob.
All righty. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. I think we're taking questions via chat, correct, Adria? So if you have any questions for Bob, please do so.
Yes, please post in the chat if you have any questions.
Okay. So, and if not, then we're going to move on to member services, and Hannah Hayloff is going to help us understand what's going on in that committee. Hannah?
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Alrighty, so my name is Hannah Kaloff, and I'm based out of Southern California. So the AWFS member services, the strategic goal is to provide industry-leading programs, services, and resources to our members. And like Rob said earlier, a lot of people think of AWFS just as a trade show, but it has a lot more to offer. So I'm going to cover a little bit of that right now. So first and foremost, AWFS currently has 431 paid member companies and 316 of which have already renewed for the 2023 trade show. And speaking of that, it is renewal season. So if you have not renewed for your AWFS membership, you don't want to miss out, and you could contact Angela, who is great. She's always on the ball. You could email her at angela@awfs.org if you have any questions about your renewal for the membership benefits. And another really cool thing that AWFS offers is the job board. So if you have any open positions you are trying to fill, an amazing benefit that I know a lot of members do take advantage of is the job board. You can post any open positions on the AWFS job board. It is free and easy. And you could follow the link right here that's on the screen and go to awfs.org/job board, and then you log in and get started. If you have any questions about that, just put it in the little chat here, and I'm sure we could help you out with that. AWFS also has 4 different publications that we want to make sure you are aware of. The first is the AWFS Suppliers Edge quarterly member newsletter. So if you are not currently on the list, you could contact Adria about that, and she can make sure to get you on that list. Her email is adria@awfs.org. The second is the AWFS Smart Brief, and it is sent out every Thursday afternoon. You could go to awfs.org/newsroom to learn more and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. The third is the flagship report. This is an economic report published by Dr. Chris Kuhl, and it's sent out each Monday afternoon. Same thing, you could go to the awfs.org newsroom to learn more and to subscribe if you aren't currently on that list. And then don't forget to check out the Roundup blog, and that is on awfs.org for any other news and updates that might be going on. Adria is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to AWFS member services. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to reach out to her through email. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hannah. That was great. A lot of information. And then I guess we're going to head to public policy. Again, Bob Brown, he thought he was getting away, but he's got another report for us.
Appreciate it, Rob. All right. AWFS public policy, strategic goal to be an effective voice on public policy issues affecting the woodworking industry. In 2022 recap, in June, AWFS hosted a virtual DC fly-in in partnership with WMMA. There were 7 participants in total. We had 13 meetings with congressional members and staff, from health to the Senate Education and Labor Committees. The focus on our message was to increase funding and support for workforce development and career technical education. Many of the conversations were about providing expanding opportunities for apprenticeship programs, or providing funding to small business to engage in training. Throughout 2022, AWFS lobbyist partner Lobbyit continued to monitor various CTE and workforce development legislation to include National Apprenticeship Act reauthorization. This is not yet passed, but hopeful that it will in the coming year, and with new provisions to expand apprenticeships. Employer Direct Skills Act, the EDSA, which would allow for employers to access WIOA funds for training and programs. American Competes Act, aka USICA, or Innovations Act. AWFS requested the CTE workforce funding to be included. The Jobs Act, which would allow Pell Grants to be used for short-term training programs, and the CTE Perkins funding. AWFS requested that Perkins funding continue and is increased. This is the primary federal funding source for K through 12 career technical education programs. We've got regulatory updates. Mr. Wade Gregory, if you could jump in here.
Sure, thanks, Bob. Yep, I'm Wade Gregory. Hello, everybody. I'm a past board member and past president that have been around for about 20 years. They just can't seem to get rid of me. So, but one of the things that I kind of still do for the agency is keep up on some, important regulatory stuff that's might be going on out there that could affect either our members or our members' customers. I'm sure you'll all be pleased to know I'm not going to talk about formaldehyde today. There's really nothing new going on. The Canadians are still trying, and the U.S. are still trying to harmonize their standards, and California still keeps threatening to update their air toxic control measure, but nothing seems to be happening at that point. There are a few things, though, that I have been kind of watching here recently, and that was one is a furniture stability rule, and there's been a new mandatory product safety rule designed to reduce the number of deaths associated with furniture tipping over on young children. That was published in the Federal Registry on November 25th. The safety standard for clothing storage units drafted by the U.S. Product Safety Commission, or USPC, takes effect on May 24th, 2023, 6 months from now. This gives the furnishing manufacturers and importers 180 days to engineer and test their products to meet the rules and requirements and add the required warning labels and hang tags. This is going on at the same time Congress is considering a similar legislation called the Sturdy Act that is one final vote from becoming law. The House first passed their version in June. The Senate took a look at it, made one slight change, but now it has to go back to the House for another vote. Politics at its finest. Anyway, the CPS rule applies to all freestanding chest drawers, armoires, and bureaus, and not just limited to items marketed under clothing storage. It basically covers any storage furniture that is 27 inches or higher and with a total functional storage space of 1.3 cubic feet or greater. That's not much. The American Home Furnishings Alliance, AHFA, has immediately filed a petition for judicial review of the CPSC standard, saying that they support a mandatory stability standard, but claiming the complexity of the performance testing requirements in the CPSC rule will make it unenforceable. They support the passage of the Sturdy Act, which is currently in Congress. Now, the reason I bring this up because, there obviously I have not read all the requirements, but there will be some, our customers, particularly that are in this industry, will be wanting to do some things differently. It might be they want heavier products, they might want lighter products, they might want drawers that don't all come out at once or only come out so far. I've seen wall anchors on some of these. So, this is gonna, we're gonna get some requests out there because it's going to affect the way we all have these kind of customers, or many of us do. So we will see some impact. Unless I'm not going to dig into the whole rule unless I see that it adversely is going to affect us in any way. This is an interesting one. The northern long-eared bat. On December 5th, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service announced a final rule to reclassify the northern long-eared bat as endangered under the Endangered Species Act. The final rule becomes effective January 30th, 2023. Earlier this year, the Decorative Hardwoods Association and the Hardwood Federation commented on the proposed regulations, highlighting that forestry helps bat populations. Redesignating the bat as endangered will trigger land use restrictions that could affect timber harvesting operations in 38 states. I bring this up because approximately 35 years ago, a forester friend of mine stood up at a meeting and made us all aware that the Fish and Wildlife was looking at classifying the northern spotted owl as an endangered species. And we also all said, so what? It's a bird. Well, it wasn't long after that bird, basically devastated the Western wood products business. Hundreds of mills were shut down and thousands of people were put out of work because of timber restrictions. So I don't take any of these things lightly. I don't think this little guy is going to get the public sentiment that the owl did. He's an ugly little sucker. I don't know if you can see that. And whereas the spotted owl, they used to dress him up and make him look like he was some little kid stuffed animal. So we'll see where it goes. But sometimes these little things can drastically affect it. And last, Chevron is last month, the Biden administration granted Chevron a license to resume oil production in Venezuela after U.S. sanctions halted all drilling activities almost 3 years ago. Chevron received a 6-month license to produce crude oil and petroleum products in its projects in Venezuela. There's no new drilling is being authorized, but the company will be able to repair and do maintenance of oil fields. All export products will go to the U.S. The fields, before the sanctions, the fields were producing somewhere between 15 and 50,000 barrels per day. It's been claimed that they could produce up to 200,000 barrels a day. Now, while this move is mostly politically motivated and will do little to alleviate the world oil shortage without Russia, it's a step in the right direction. So, it's another source of oil for the U.S. that's outside of, that is not affected by the Russians. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, Wade, thank you very much. All right, we're looking forward to 2023. Next at AWFS DC Fly-In will take place spring of 23. So stay tuned for more details coming there. AWFS and Lafayette will continue to advocate and support CTE and workforce development legislation. And following midterms, AWFS and Lafayette are monitoring the new congressional agenda. So contact Adria Salvador, obviously, to learn more about AWFS public policy at adria@awfs.org. If any questions, let me know. If not, Rob.
All right, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Wade. Great report. I can't see, Adria, if there's any chat or any questions.
I think we're good so far.
Okay, good. All right, and we'll have more time at the end here to answer any questions you might have. I'm going to switch over and go to education, and we got Mr. Carl Fry.
Thanks, Rob. Hi, everybody. I'm Carl Fry with Colonial Saw Company. And in the education committee, our strategic goal is to provide professional development and education opportunities to meet the evolving needs of our members and the industry. And the highlights from this past year are that AWFS continues to work with the executive committee for the Wood Industry Resource Collaborative, which we say in short is WORK, a coalition of associations throughout our industry. WORK launched the UWood campaign, an industry-wide initiative to promote careers in wood to students and job seekers. Since its launch in January of 2021, we've had over 200,000 site visits and 56 million impressions from social media campaigns. We've also participated in events with ASCA, the School Counselors Group, and ACTE, which is a group of CTE educators, to advance our message. And we hope to explore new ways to promote careers in our industry through UWood in 2023. If you haven't already done so, go to uwood.com to learn more about work in UWood. In June, Whining invited AWFS to present a session about workforce development and how companies can get involved. If you'd like to see the presentation or offer something similar, please email adria@awfs.com. This past October, all staff supported AWFS member company DBS, Store Box Specialties, a manufacturing day event, and over 300 students from several different schools in Southern California attended the event, where they were given a tour of the DBS facility, got a free lunch, and did a build a box activity. We hope this leads to more students interested in careers at drawer box specialties and in the wood industries. For more information, contact Adria at awfs.org. And if you'd like to learn more about Manufacturing Day or to host an event. AWFS offers quarterly economic updates with webinars with Dr. Chris Kuehl. They're free and open to anyone in the industry. The next one's taking place Wednesday, December 14th at 10 a.m. Go to awfs.org webinars to register for that. If you know any young professionals at your company or in the wood industry that we can interview and feature in the U Wood campaign or in Q Career videos, please email Adria at awfs.org. AWFS has begun working with NEPRIS, now called Pathful, which is a platform that facilitates virtual guest speakers in classrooms. If you'd be interested in serving as a virtual guest speaker in a classroom, please contact Adria at awfs.org. AWFS staff and volunteers continue to have active participation in the ACTE Workforce Development Coalition and several statewide district and school level advisory committees to represent our industry and workforce needs. What we're looking forward to in the next year to come in 2023 is ongoing support of the U Wood campaign and development of assets and resources. Provide more communication about AWFS education efforts and activities to teachers and students. Prepare for education initiatives in the 2023 AWFS Fair, including the Education Pavilion, Freshwood, CWWK, and networking opportunities for teachers and industry professionals. If you have any questions or comments or would like more, contact Adria at awfs.org. There, I see something in chat. Does anyone have a question?
Yeah, Hannah has a great question about if how we can see the interviews of young wood professionals. So if you go to awfs.org/education, there's a section called Q Career, and those are the videos that we've done so far. We have several. One is with Logan Lineback, who is the first apprentice from Kelly Victor Burke's apprenticeship in Michigan. Another is with Paul Lamb, who's a woodworking teacher. We have one with Thomas Tuck from C.R. Onsrud. So there's several on there. If you need help finding it, I can, when we're at question and answer, I can post the link in the chat.
Yeah, thanks for that. And good question, Hannah. And please check out awfs.org/education. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there, videos and things like that. Thank you very much.
All right, Carl, don't go anywhere because we have SWIM and the Society of Wood Manufacturing. So you're up again.
Okay. So the Society of Wood Manufacturing is a Southern California-based chapter of AWFS focused on supporting and connecting with education. So far, we're just in Southern California, but we're open to have other chapters around the country. A recap of 2022, we organized and executed 2022 Skills USA California regional and state introductory woodworking and cabinet making competitions. SWIM volunteers designed the contest following industry practices and processes. AWFS members companies, including Colonial Saw, Bloom, Royal Plywood, DBS, and Decorative Specialties donated equipment, materials, and supplies for the contest, and nearly 100 students were served across the state. SWIM also offered a grant program for end-of-the-year awards to recognize students for their achievements in woodworking. 5 schools were awarded $500 each for their awards banquets that they had. Also, swim volunteers designed and built a mobile CNC cart to showcase CNC woodworking for teachers, students, and counselors. It has a Shark SD 100 CNC machine, which was donated by Next Wave Automation. And the cart also features a monitor to display video, images, and software demonstrations. Swim participated in a local industry in-person manufacturing day event at Reborn Cabinets, as well as Doorbox Specialties. Swim also hosted a manufacturing day event in Las Vegas, which was done at local schools. Swim exhibited at CASC, which is a group for school counselors, and CTE educators, to promote careers in the woodworking industry, featuring the You Wood Career Awareness campaign. Swim volunteers continue to serve on local high school and college advisory committees. They have also participated in virtual and in-person guest speaking in classrooms about industry careers. Swim members meet regularly via Zoom once a month. They participate also in social events, including a baseball game, camping trip, and holiday party. That's the recap for 2022, what we're looking forward to in 2023. Swim will organize and manage 2023 Skills USA California regional and state introductory woodworking and cabinet making competitions again. Swim is hosting a CNC training event for teachers, which will take place Friday, February 25th at Cerritos College in Los Angeles County area. The event will feature presentations and exhibit booths of suppliers. Swim is preparing for the Make and Take booth, which will be at the 2023 AWFS Fair. So come out and make a little small project and see how Swim can help us in our industry. That's what I've got. Any questions?
All right.
If not, I'll turn it over to you, Rob.
Thank you so much, Carl. Thanks for all the reports from all the chairs. We really appreciate it. If you are someone who would like to be involved with some of the committees, we'd love to have you reach out to Adria and join some of the committees and give back to the industry. All of the people that you see here that are chairs are, in some way associated with our industry and, do a great job to give up their time to share with all of you. And if you have interest, we'd love to hear from you. With that being said, I'm going to open up the discussion, question and answer, and we're going to turn it over to Angelo Gangoni, who is the EVP for AWFS. Angelo.
Thank you, Rob. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. I would like to say that, as you saw, everybody that gave a presentation were volunteers. They take time out of their schedules, and I know how much time they take. It's really incredible. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's volunteered for us, not only the members that gave presentations during this meeting, but all of our volunteers. As a not-for-profit, we really rely a lot on these volunteers. And as you see, at the very start, we were talking about AWFS not just being a trade show, but there is a lot going on behind the scenes that many times our members don't even know about. We are really committed, as you saw from these presentations, to career technical education. One of the biggest issues that our industry has faced for so many years has been the lack of skilled labor. And I could tell you, I've been in this industry since 1992. So this was my 30th year in this industry. And a lot of these volunteers have also been in this industry for decades. That has been an overriding theme, the lack of skilled labor. And I have to say, if there's one thing that I am truly proud of that we've been able to do is really dedicate a lot of time, not only on the staff level, but also for our volunteers toward bringing young people into this industry. And it's not going to be easy because we're up against some really tough competition out there with the automotive industry, with aerospace, with metalworking. All of these industries are vying for that same young talent. So this is going to take a group effort. We've got a great team here of staff and volunteers, but we could always use more help. So if you are interested, whether it's participating on the trade show committee, and you can contact Kim Warwick for that, or whether you want to help on the association level, Adria Salvatore is your contact. So please, we could, right now, we're entering a very, very important phase for our industry, and we could always use more help, more hands on deck. With that, I would also like to turn it over to any questions you may have, whether it comes to, I don't see anything in the chat, Adria, but if somebody wants to pose a question, we certainly would be happy to answer.
I want to apologize. Someone just alerted me that the chat was disabled. So clearly I'm not doing my Zoom hours frequently enough, but the chat is enabled now. So if you were trying to post something during the presentation, I apologize. It was me, not you, but you should be able to post something now if you have any questions.
You don't have any questions right now, unless somebody's just very slow in their typing. I know I would be. Okay. Well, at this point, we will basically, I'll turn it back over to Rob. And if anybody does bring up a question in the meantime, we will be happy to get back to you. If not on this meeting, immediately following the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody, once again, for participating today.
Thank you, Angela. So as you can see here, these are all the staff from AWFS. Feel free to reach out if you want to contact anyone. You see Adria's information up there, which I brought up earlier. I can't say enough about the staff. I don't think I really realized what goes on behind the scenes and you know how the show really comes together. So I can't say enough about all the staff and the team and what they really do with the different committees and everything that really happens behind the scenes. So if you need to reach out, everything should be up there from Facebook, Instagram, the social media outlets. Feel free to reach out to each and every one of us. And with that being said, if there's no other questions, I guess we're going to call to adjourn. And if I could get a motion for that, that would be appreciated.
I do see a question in the chat.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Clay asks how the show is shaping up. Are we projecting higher numbers of exhibitors and attendees?
Angelo or Bob, do you want to take that?
Sorry about that. I was trying to work around my screen. I am not a big fan of Zoom, to be honest. This is probably the one platform I don't like the most. Okay. Well, right now, I believe that Bob did give the numbers, and as far as how we are tracking, it's really too early to say anything about attendees because our attendance promotions really begin and we ramp up in January. So it's way too early. But as far as where we are today, we are very close to selling out the West Hall. And if you take a look and if you go to awfsfair.org, and you click on the floor plan, you will see the floor plan live as it is today. So if you want to follow in terms of the exhibitors themselves, all you have to do is do that, and that'll give you a really, really good viewpoint as to where we are at this moment.
Are there any others, Adria? Before I go to
Not
it.
at this time.
Okay. Going once, going twice. So, okay, so if no other questions or comments, I'd like to call to adjourn the meeting, and if I could get a motion to do so.
This is Carl, so moved.
Carl will motion, and I'm sorry, did Bob say something or?
No, I'll second.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Well, with that being said, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here today, and I wish you all the very, very most on the holiday season, and hopefully you'll join us again here next year, and I guess that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Anna.
Bye, guys.